Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and more Blood and Plunder here. Now we're working our way through the named French commanders. So we're going to kick things off. I think we got about 14 or so to go through. We're going to kick things off with Jean Pinel, the 25-pointer historic commander. Here we have a choice of leading French Caribbean militia or French Buccaneer forces. And pretty good stats on this as far as command range and command points. We get the nice 12-inch command range, 24 bubble there, so we're going to command a decent amount of real estate across the board. We do get the 2 command points. Of course, the third one would have been nice, but we can't have everything. It does come with a brace of pistols and the standard melee weapons, so we're good to go there. And he has some pretty nice abilities. He's got a unique one here, Ship La Volante, lead by example, brawlers, and broadside. So he, for that 25-point investment, comes pretty loaded with useful abilities. So let's jump in. Some of these abilities we've seen, some are going to be new for us in our series here. So the ship one, basically if this force includes a brigantine with no more than 6 cannons, its windward value becomes 0 and adds 1 to each sail setting above 0 when sailing large. So his own named ship, and that's something cool to include with special characters, especially since we can play on the sea in this game, also kind of getting named or unique ships in that sense. Lead by example is a great one that we've seen, and really one of the favorites just in general to have on a commander, that we can essentially get again sort of a great force multiplier in that sense. So if this unit, if the unit that includes this commander causes an opposing unit to be removed from the game, casualties or routing, all units in the force that you own may remove a point of fatigue. So again, wonderful ability when we can trigger it, and ideally, hopefully we can trigger it multiple times a game. So when we activate, we don't have to necessarily waste time trying to remove fatigue. We can focus on other more fruitful activities like maybe fighting or shooting the enemy and moving and just doing other useful things aside from just trying to get fatigue off, especially if the fatigue is enough to cause us to modify what our turn's going to be like. So if we can time things right and then get this to trigger by maybe finishing off a severely damaged or a unit that just has a ton of fatigue already piled on it, this is just a great one, right? And especially if we have a lot of units left ourselves, really each point of fatigue removed is, you should think of it this way, that's an action, right, to remove each of those. And we don't have to burn fortune or anything for any rerolls necessarily on this. We're just straight up removing fatigue. Brawlers is a fun one we haven't seen much of yet, but this is a good ability for the combat-oriented folks, right? This unit can roll an additional d10 for each natural 10 rolled during a fight test to attempt to score additional hits. So great. Anytime, again, we get free stuff, in this case more dice to cause hopefully more casualties, really just makes us potent. Now, the danger here is, of course, right, it's going to be the unit that our commander's in, and ideally we certainly want to put him in a large unit, as large as possible, just so that he can stick around as long as possible. But we also want to, again, try to preserve lead by example as much as possible, because that's going to benefit the whole force, whereas Brawlers is affecting his unit. Now, there are, of course, a lot of units themselves that have Brawlers, so that's kind of cool, but this could also just help round that out and give the commander's unit Brawlers to, maybe he's in a more shooty unit, getting Brawlers on another unit could be useful there. But yeah, basically fishing for extra 10s to roll more 10s there. And it could be one too where, let's say, hey, we just completely flubbed the combat roll and didn't really cause much damage, maybe just like 1 or something like that. That's the perfect time to then bring in a fortune point. Let's just re-roll the whole thing and then hopefully garner some actual 10s and stuff too, to really make that useful. So cool ability, very punchy, but again, we're going to expose ourselves to danger if we're going to be fighting, or at least potentially doing that. So ideally we want to charge in there, wipe the enemy out with a good triggering of the Brawler's roll and get some more free hits. And then finally, broadside, we've seen that a lot. And again, if we're going to be fighting typically ship-based here, this is really just a useful ability, but again, pretty common across a lot of the commanders. But basically, all artillery fired during the commander's activation are fired simultaneously. Hence, it all counts as the same range attack, and all the dice are rolled simultaneously, so we're looking for, basically, it's going to increase our crit chance, which is, again, another great ability to have, and hopefully putting serious damage on enemy ships. So just a wonderful combination of abilities here on all that for 25 points. Yes, it's an investment, so ideally we're not going to use him for really small games, maybe like in larger ones, 200-point range or something like that. But he definitely brings a lot for those points, and again is going to make his own unit really good. And lead by example is, again, force wide, doesn't have like a range restriction or line of sight restriction, just fantastic stuff there. Gets a unique ship ability, and then broadside, of course, to make them pretty punchy on the water as well. And a good set of stats there, again, 12-inch command range and the 2 command points. So good stuff, guys. Let us know if you have run forces with Jean Pinel, and have you found more success with him in the militia force or the buccaneer force? Could be useful certainly in both. Hit us up in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment, and we will see you in the next one for more Blood and Plunder coverage.